I'd like to show you how to thread the Janome DC1050. We're going to be using the spool pin, the thread guides, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there are 2 places down here you need to thread as well as the needle for your convenience. To begin, we're going to make sure that our thread is coming from the bottom up. There's a picture here on the top of the machine that shows that. It slides onto the spool pin. Then we put the spool pin cover on to lock the thread into place. If you do not have a spool pin cover, the thread may get caught on the edge of the spool, and then that will cause your machine to sew unevenly. We're going to go this direction around and make sure you pull it tight. Down the slot, around the horn at the bottom and back up. There's a little piece of metal here. This is called the thread take-up lever, and its job is to pull the thread off the machine. You go from right to left and then back down all the way to the bottom. And that's a good place to just let the thread dangle for a second. Also a good time to go ahead and check that your thread tension is still set to a 4. To finish up, we're going to bring the thread down, and there are 2 places where we need to put thread here. The first is a small metal bar right here towards the bottom. The thread needs to go from the right to the left. And then there's another small little bar here right by the top of the needle. And from here, it needs to go from the left to the right. This is where you can put your needle down just to make sure it's all the way up, and you could go ahead and thread the machine manually going from front to back. You could also use the self-threader. To do that, we pull it down and bring it forward. And we can see that there's a little plastic piece here, and here there's a very, very, very tiny hook right in front of the needle hole. We want to go around this plastic piece from left to right and all the way over and pull kind of up at an angle. Make kind of a triangle shape, and then let go of the threader and pull it back. Push forward so that it goes back. Then let go. And you can tell it's gone through the needle. And if we use a straight pin, or even your fingers, you could get a hold of it. I'm going to use this lead to this crayon. I'm going to pull it all the way through. I'm going to pull the presser foot up and remove the bobbin cover so that I can put my bobbin in. The bobbin should always have the thread coming over the top from right to left, and then be placed into the bobbin case. And it's difficult to see on video, but there is a tiny little notch cut out in the metal right in this area. That's where we want to put our thread, and maybe use your finger to hold down the bobbin. Slide the thread through all the way. And now there are many different ways to do this. What I found works the best is to hold the upper thread in your hand and then turn the hand wheel towards you, almost one whole rotation. And as you do, if you pull a little tightly while you're turning the wheel, up will come a second thread. It will pull the thread from the bottom. Then you can use a pencil lead or a straight pin to make sure now both threads are coming up here and there's nothing sticking out of the bobbin case at the bottom. We can then take our bobbin cover, make sure that's sealed, and we can take both threads, put them under the foot, and have them going out the rear of the machine. That way they don't get sucked into the fabric. Meanwhile, you can maybe see the feed dogs a little bit better here. If you start your fabric too close to you and not under the foot, it's likely to pull it down and in. So we want to make sure that our fabric covers this oval directly under the presser foot before you start. Another thing, and this is major, make sure that you put the foot down before you start. If the foot is not down, it will not stitch correctly, and it will take about 1,000,000 knots under this throat plate area and then get stuck. The only fix for that is to take out this screw and this screw, take off the presser foot with this screw, and then take out all the threads that are down trapped inside. It's about a 10-minute fix. Sometimes we can do it a little quicker if we catch it early, but in order to make sure you don't have that problem, make sure that we always sew with the presser foot down. And I do have the light on just so you can see this. It's illuminated a little bit better for the video, but you want to thread your machine with it turned off, because it would be very easy to hit this start-stop button and make a mistake and accidentally sew your finger. So always thread with the power off.